Good morning. So this is where we left it yesterday. Okay, we had this spreadsheet over here where we had loads of information, and now we have matches played, wins, draws, losses, goals for, goals against, and I asked you last night to work out the goal difference. So the goal difference is the difference between what you score and what you concede in regards goals. So if we just take a look at this guy here, he'll be easy to work out. So Manchester United, they have scored 49, but they have conceded 30 goals. So I'd expect their goal difference to be plus 19. Okay, so they would have scored 19 more goals than they let in. So I'm going to go up here and we're going to put in a formula for that. So I don't want you to actually be doing these sums. Okay, I want Excel, or I want the Google Sheets now as it is, to be doing this work for us. So we start off with the subtractions. We want to subtract this guy here from this guy over here. So it's going to be 43, take away this guy here. And to do that, we hit enter. And that gives us 29. Again, I'm not too happy about this autofill business. I want you guys kind of dragging and stuff like that, okay? Now we're going to do exactly that. We're just going to drag this down. So that means we go to the bottom right hand corner of the cell, and we see a little black cross appearing, and then we press down with our left key on the mouse and we're able to drag it down. You guys have Chromebooks. I'm not sure if you have mice with them or not, but you obviously have some feature where there is a mouse. So that's grand. That's the way it is. Our points still up to date? 50, 45, 43, 40, 39. They are, yeah. So that's the answer you should have gotten last night. So the formula you key in the top one is I2 minus J2, and then you're able to drag that down all the way. So that's the first thing I want to talk about in this class, that exercise I gave you last night. So hopefully you all got that. The second thing I want to talk about is we are currently calling the sheet that we are working on, all this area here, we are currently calling that, this thing down here, sheet 1. I want to rename that. So to rename sheet 1, I right click it and I go to rename, and I want to call it, let's say, table. Okay. Now, that makes sense. That's the Premier League table. This information over here, okay, although it's really important, it shouldn't really be part of this table. Yeah? This is kind of something different. So really he should be in his own sort of spreadsheet. So let's copy and paste him out for a second. And to illustrate this point here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all of that. I'm just going to call it 0 for the time being. And then we're going to drag that 0 down. Okay, so it's like I'm restarting that, okay? So I've wiped all of that points clear, okay? So it's no longer referencing this thing here. So I want to drag this, I want to put this onto a different spreadsheet. So let's right click it first of all. And so I right click there and that gave me an options. So I'm now going to copy. And I'm going to go down to this little plus here and add a new sheet, and I'm going to rename this sheet, let's call it points. So this sheet here will give us the points, and so if I now right click and then paste, I can see the information back up there. So let's go back into the table, and I now want to put in points. So points equals, well, it's this cell here multiplied by, I'm going to delete all of this so it's just not, we don't have access to it. Yeah, so it's still in the points, so this should be a 0. Okay, sorry about that. So let's go back in here and it should be equals. Okay, so it's going to be this cell here, the wins, star the points for a win, which is this guy here. So I click on it and that gets points exclamation mark B1. See that? Let's go back over here the next thing I want to do is add that onto the number of points for a draw. So that's the number of draws that Man City had. I'm now going to multiply that by the points you would get for a draw, which is this cell here. Let's go back in here, and I'm going to add that onto the number of losses multiplied by the points you would get for a loss, which is 0. And I can go back in here, and I can now hit enter. And that puts a 50 into that cell there for me. And again, I don't want to do loads of that filling in formulas, so I just simply go up there and just drag this guy down. Okay, so what's after happening there again? So in this one here, we're dealing with B1, but in this one here, we're dealing with B2. In this one here, we're dealing with B3. In this one here, we're dealing with B4. And if I look back at B4 here, B4, oh, there's nothing in there. So that's why we're getting these weird results here. Remember, it should be the following. So this is what Google is telling me the teams are on: 50, 45, 43, 40, and 39. So that's what Google is telling me we should be getting. Okay, so we got the 50th, that's perfect. But when I dragged it down, when I dragged this down here, again, it dragged down this information here. It dragged this down also. So to stop that from happening, remember we use those dollar signs. Okay, so on front of the B, I'm going to insert a dollar sign. And on front of the 1, I'm going to insert a dollar sign. On front of the B, I insert a dollar sign. And on front of the 3, I insert a dollar sign. On front of the B, I insert a dollar sign. On front of the 2, I insert a dollar sign. And now it should work out for us. So I think it's gone into there by accident. There we go. And we don't need him in there at all. So now, how are we doing? Yep, that's the correct formula now. Okay, so we should be matching up these columns here, and we are. So I can now delete those because they're just in there for just to check. So yeah, so that's that's a really useful tool to be able to do. Okay, so yeah, there was one other thing we had to do. Oh yeah, these columns here now. We should be able to delete them by delete column, and delete column. Okay, so I need to give you guys an exercise to do tonight. What will I get you to do? Okay, in this column here, I'm going to put in a thing called points behind. Now, in here you're going to put in a 0. In here you're going to put in, well, 45 there, minus 5. These guys here are minus 7. So these are the points that you're off the lead, okay? Now, I obviously don't want you to just do the sums in your head and write in the answers like I did. Okay, what I want you to do is be able to take this number away from this number and put the answer in here. So just to repeat that, I want you to be able to take this number from this number and put it in here. And then you're going to drag some formula down. And be careful, because when you're going to drag it down, I don't want all the numbers to go down as well. It's always going to be this 50 here. Okay, so you're going to have to use those dollar signs, I think. Okay, so have a go at that exercise tonight, and I will speak to you in person tomorrow. I will be live with you on Friday. Thanks guys, I'll see you then.